In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step process how to replace your rear camera on this Ford Edge. It's going to also be pretty much the same thing on a Ford Escape, Mercury Mariner. A lot of them are basically use the same camera, same mounting system. I got the new camera here off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. I'm going to just zoom in, show you guys what the new camera looks like, and then we'll get started. Camera looks like, just got a plug right there. And it's going to have a rubber cap over the lens. There's the camera. So it's pretty small. It's too bad they didn't mount it somehow from the outside. We didn't have to tear apart the inside panel. So we'll get started. We'll do this step by step. And by the end of the video, you'll have your new rear camera installed. And you'll save yourself a lot of time and money by not taking it to the dealership. With the hatch open, there's a good view of your backup camera. It's right in between your license plate lights. You have 4 screws on these 2 pockets, 2 on that side and 2 on this side. They're just plain Phillips head screws, so we'll go ahead and remove those. Take a trim tool like this and start pulling down this cover. If you're going to use a screwdriver, I suggest you put some tape on it. If you're going to use anything metal to pry this loose, tape it up so it doesn't scratch the paint. Or if you have a trim tool like this, you can just work your way around. And I like to pull down at the back side first. I don't like starting up at that end. With this trim tool, you work your way all the way around and get this panel off. I've got it most of the way off, and I just want to show you that what you're doing is pulling these little white tabs out of their holders. You just want to make sure once this comes off that you didn't leave any of these white tabs stuck into the metal. You can pull them off the metal and reinsert them onto their plastic holders. But this is what it looks like halfway off. We just need to keep on working it and it will come all the way. So there's what the panel pulled off looks like. And if you have a plastic tab like this with no white stud on it, if you take a look, you'll see that the white stud is stuck in there. Go ahead and pull all those out, any of those that were left. So now there's going to be 6 nuts all across here that you're going to need to remove. And then you have 2 plastic wing studs. You just squeeze in the wing and push out. I highly recommend you use a 11mm deep well socket. Now these wing studs, just squeeze them in and push at the same time. Now just make sure that your 2 wires are nice and loose, and now we'll be able to pull the housing off. Now you can pull the housing off and remove this rubber grommet holding that wire, just like that. And now with the housing off, you can see right here's the camera lens. This is the camera housing. Right here's the camera. So to disconnect the camera, you have this housing right here. You're going to push down, and then you can just push it right off the camera. Now this is the point where in all the other YouTube videos, guys are sawing at this, hacking away at it, breaking all these tabs. But what they don't tell you is, or they don't know, is you can unscrew these studs. So that's what we're going to do next. Now if you take a look at the end of all these studs, it's tapered. There's no threads right there. So what I like to do is take a pair of vice grips right on the edge. Do not get on the threads. Turn these counterclockwise and take all of these studs out. As you can see, I got all 6 studs out. They come right out in about 5 minutes. I don't know why these other guys on YouTube are cutting, hacking, and JB welding their new cameras in. They just take the time and do it right. They can do a professional job. And now you see on this black piece you have all these tabs. Take a very small, fine screwdriver. You're going to slide it into the tab, push down, and you're going to pull back at the same time. And that's what disconnects this black piece from this housing. So just work your way all the way down, pulling those tabs out. So now you can see after about 2 minutes, this black whole entire camera housing is separated from the trim molding. So now you can see we have a screw right here. This is a T20. We're going to go ahead and take that screw off next. And now with that screw out and out of the way, you can move this bracket out of the way. And out comes your camera. So now you're just going to slide your camera right back in place. Put the camera bracket back in place. And now we're going to go ahead and replace that T20 screw. And there we have it. The camera's back in place. Nothing is broken. We go ahead and start the rest of the reassembly. All you gotta do is simply squeeze on the black housing and the tabs will pop right back in place. You just make sure that this is flush, that way you know that it's completely attached. Then we go ahead and reinstall our studs. Alright, so if you take a look, you want to make sure that you connect your camera before you reinstall all this. Feed your wiring back through. Do one connector at a time. Push in that rubber grommet. And now you can line up your studs. Make sure you're not pinching any wiring. Go ahead and push in, and that's when you push in, those outer wing studs will lock in place. Just like that. And now we'll open our hatch. Now we can reinstall those 11mm nuts. Now once your 6 nuts are all installed, go ahead and reconnect your wire connectors. And now we're going to go ahead and put our back panel on. If you'll notice, you do have a groove here and a square hole here to line this up first, and then we're just going to push it into place. And you can look along the crack of this and see that your push studs are lined up. And now just start pushing in all the way around. Now we can reinstall our 4 Phillips screws. Don't over tighten, all you want to do is make these snug. Once all the screws are in place, just go around and push up on the inner panel just to double check. And once the inner panel is secured, go ahead and close the hatch. And that's all there is to it. Now congratulate yourself on changing your own rear camera. You saved yourself a lot of time and money by not going to the dealership and doing it yourself. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.